The directions just read, mark the out of context sentence for your answer. So we have about 5 sentences, and these 5 sentences we need to figure out which one is not in line with the context. So one of the first approaches that we can apply is look for what's the common or repeat words, right? So in A we have Tagore, B also starts with Tagore, C also starts with Rabindranath Tagore, D starts with J.K. Rowling, and then E starts with his book of poems Gitanjali. So if you're familiar with Rabindranath Tagore's work, right, you know that Gitanjali is his book and not J.K. Rowling. So a little bit of general knowledge also helps, right? J.K. Rowling is basically a British novelist, screenwriter and film producer, best known as the author of Harry Potter series, right? Fantasy series. So you obviously know that the only thing that is standing out or which is out of context is D, because all the other sentences are revolving or referring to Rabindranath Tagore, right? So one of the first things, so in this particular question type, so basically what we've done is we've applied the strategy of looking for repeat words. However, we're also the approach that we've applied here is what's the main subject, right? So identify what's the subject here and then go about figuring out what the right answer is, right? So we know that the answer or the sentence that is out of context is option D. It's about somebody else completely. We have 5 sentences. We are going to identify which sentence is out of the context. So A, B, C, D, E. So repeat phrases again. Let's quickly look at repeat phrases, right? That's the first strategy that we'll apply. Demonetization, 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 right? So I have out of the 5 sentences, 3 sentences that have demonetization repeated. But let's also not just fall back only on that. We also need to keep in mind, are the sentences talking about the same or are they producing the same meaning? So another approach that you can definitely apply is, is the main idea or the general idea, is it positive or negative, right? So for example, you can have all sentences referring to a feature of a product, right? Features of a product. But there can be one sentence which is only talking about how badly that product's sales is in the market, right? So likewise, let's take a closer look at all these sentences and try and identify if there is one sentence which is not in line with the general idea, right? Let's quickly look at it. Since the economy is heavily dependent on cash, demonetization has caused a lot of problems. So definitely a negative meaning here. The effects are more severe as only less than half the population uses banking system for monetary transactions. So because this is the current case, obviously demonetization has not helped the situation. So this again is giving us a negative meaning, right? See, the aim of demonetization was to free the society of black money and make the terrorists powerless who had entered our country. So this was the objective. Obviously, this was a positive objective, right? The need for demonetization. Why they started this in the first place was for this positive outcome. Let's quickly take a look at D and E. D says demonetization has hit trade and consumption hard and has severely affected the wages and income of huge masses of people. Again, negative meaning. And E says with people scrambling for cash to pay for goods and services, scrambling here giving us the meaning of, struggling, right? They don't have enough cash. The move is likely to take a big toll on the country's growth and output during the current fiscal. Big toll as in a catastrophic effect, right? It's going to be a huge downward trend or a hit. Big toll as in it's going to take a big hit, being affected on a very large scale. That's what it means. So obviously this also is giving us a negative meaning. So if you look at all the contexts, right? Every other sentence is talking about how demonetization, the negative effects of demonetization, and the only sentence that is mentioning or expressing positive meaning is C, and obviously that's our answer, right? That is the only context that is out of context. So basically what we've done here in this question is, yes, we have applied the strategy of repeat words. However, we're not completely falling for that. We are going another step forward, right? A step higher. And what we're trying to say is, look for the general idea, right? And if all the sentences are aligned to that. So one of the first things is it giving us a positive or a negative meaning. Right? That's something that we've applied. That's one approach that we've applied here in this question. So as an example, I said features of a product, right? So all the sentences, let's say 4 sentences talk about the features of a product, but one sentence talks about bad sales of that product in the market, or poor sales, right? That's a more appropriate collocation, poor sales of that product in the market. So we need to identify what's the, if all the sentences are aligned with expressing or giving the same idea.